Every business owner gets income statement and balance sheet at the end of the month, and they are the most confusing documents if you're not used to looking at it. So let's just take a brief look at what is really important for you to look at to make sense out of the mirage of numbers that are there. So here it is. You've got four key numbers that you're going to take a look at: sales, gross margin, operating expense, net income. And what's important about those? Well, obviously, sales tells you whether you're growing or not growing. Gross margin tells you what you're making on the products that you're selling. Operating expenses are your overhead expenses, your fixed costs, rent, payroll, things like that. And net income is basically the money that you're going to put in your pocket and take home at the end of the month. Now, those are all good numbers, but there's a key here, and that is that what are you going to do with those numbers, and how do you look at those numbers so that they're meaningful? So here's something to keep in mind. If you're looking at sales, it's important to look at sales from the perspective of what is selling. It's not just a matter of do you have sales that are better than other months that you've had in the past. The key is, are there particular product groups that you have that are selling more than they sold in the past? Second thing, you want to take a look at gross margin and look at it the same way for each product family that you have. And then looking down even further in a further subsidiary report to look at the individual items that you're selling within those product groups. What are the items that are selling? What are the items that are giving you the most bang for your buck, the biggest profit that you have? I mean, if you're spending most of your time concentrating on sales for an item that's only getting a 5% gross margin, and you have other items that you're getting a 35% gross margin on, and you're not promoting them, they're just happening, well, I think you're putting your money in the wrong place. Okay. So the next thing to take a look at is, what are the trends? You want to take a look at how those sales are moving and whether those sales are going up or going down. I had a client who had 7 products that he was selling on a regular basis, and only 2 of them were growing, but they were growing so fast and making so much money that they obscured the loss of income and the loss of sales that he had in the other 5 products because he never even looked at them. So take a look at those. Why waste resources on things that are not performing? Or why not take the time to improve those things so that they are performing for you? So take a look at that trend analysis to determine what's happening. And the last thing is, you've got to take a look at management by exception. This is a key management concept. And the issue is, if you're taking a look at numbers and you're looking at them over a period of time, there is one number that spikes up in a particular month. Why did it do that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you want to keep that from happening in the future? Or do you want to make sure that that happens every month? Okay. Those are the decisions that you need to make. You can't take that information and look at it in a vacuum of one individual month. You've got to look at it over a period of time. So I like taking a look at a rolling 12 months, because when you start a year, you're only taking a look at January. Doesn't tell you anything. You take a look at January and February. Doesn't tell you much. But if you take a look at the 12 months that end in January, okay, so you can compare January to the 11 months prior to that, even though they're in the prior year, or you take a look at January and February and the 10 months prior to that, even though they're in the prior year, that shows you where you can look at your exceptions. Take a look at your percentages, your trend analysis, take a look at management by exception, and that big morass of numbers that don't have any meaning to you will suddenly be shining like a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm Larry Chester. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out.